please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody. So today I want to talk about Toronto Maple Leafs goaltender Frederik Andersen. And this is a guy who I have seen a lot of people, especially Leafs fans, give an unnecessary amount of flack towards over the last few seasons as Toronto continues to struggle to launch themselves towards the top of the Eastern Conference despite having a very talented roster. But I'm here to tell you today, and as we go into this video, show you why Frederik Andersen is not the problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. In fact, Frederik Anderson has been a very good goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It is not his fault that Toronto has not been able to win a playoff series, and he is not what is holding the Maple Leafs back. So, before we fully get into it, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button if you're new. Give this video a thumbs up. Both of those things help out so much and are much appreciated. But let's get into it here, looking deeper as we look at Frederik Andersen's stats over the last few years with the Maple Leafs. Andersen has been the Leafs starting goaltender for the past 4 seasons. 2016-17 was his first year. That season, he won 33 games, had a 2.67 goals against average, and a .918 save percentage for the Leafs. Then in the playoffs, he had a 2.68 goals against average and a .915 save percentage for the Leafs. The following season in 2017-18, he won 38 games in the regular season with a 2.81 goals against and a .918 save percentage yet again. Now, I will say he was very poor in the 2018 playoffs. He had a 3.76 goals against average and only an .896 save percentage in the 2018 playoffs against Boston. He had a bad postseason. There is no doubt about that. But then the next year, he came back in 2018-19, won another 36 games for the Leafs, dropped his goals against average to 2.77, and had a .917 save percentage in the regular season. And then in the playoffs, he had a 2.75 goals against average and a .922 save percentage in the 2019 playoffs for Frederik Andersen. Very, very good numbers there, and a huge bounce-back postseason performance. Then this past year, 2019-2020, he won 29 games. Now remember, it was a shortened season. He had a 2.85 goals against average, and his save percentage did slip to .909. So he did have not a spectacular regular season this year for the Leafs. But then he absolutely lit it up in the playoffs with a 1.84 goals against average and a ridiculous .936 save percentage in the playoffs this past year with Toronto. They still couldn't beat Columbus. It's not Frederik Andersen's fault that they couldn't beat Columbus. He had an inhuman .936 save percentage against the Blue Jackets in their qualifying round series. Are you kidding me? This guy, .918 save percentage, .918 save percentage, .917 save percentage. Dropped to .909 last year, but then he made up for it in the playoffs with a .936 save percentage. His postseason save percentages, 18 was a bad year. .915 in 2017. Had a really lousy postseason in 2018 with an .896. Bounced back with a .922 in 2019 and a .936 this past year. Frederik Andersen is not the problem. His numbers are fantastic. With the exception of having a bad postseason in 2018 and having a little bit of a down regular season this past year, his numbers everywhere else in 2017, in the regular season of 2018, 2019, the postseason of 2020, have all been absolutely fantastic. Frederik Andersen is not the problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. know what is the problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs? And this is something that they continue to try to address but can never seem to get right. The defense. The defense for the Toronto Maple Leafs is the problem, not Frederik Andersen. Look at these D-cores over the past 4 years here. Look at this defense. It is not a defense that is fitting for a contending team in the NHL. And this is why the Maple Leafs have not been able to win a playoff series, because their defense cores, for the most part, have stunk. Flat out stunk. 2016-17, their leading D-man is Morgan Rielly. Obviously, he's their best defenseman. Morgan Rielly played 76 games and played over 22 minutes a game. Their number 2 defenseman in 2016-17, which was Anderson's first year with the Maple Leafs, was Nikita Zaitsev. He played all 82 games and played 22-plus minutes a night. In what world is Nikita Zaitsev a number 2 defenseman? Not a world where you win in the playoffs, that's for sure. Jake Gardner, who is now a bottom pair defenseman with the Carolina Hurricanes, was their 3rd most played defenseman in 2016-17. He played all 82 games and he played 21-32 a night. Matt Hunwick and Roman Polak both played almost 18 minutes a night on that 2016-17 Toronto team. Connor Carrick and Martin Marincin played significant minutes for that team. Are you kidding me? So you would think that they would try to get their defense better, and they have. To Toronto's credit, they have made moves. They just haven't worked out super well. 2017-18, Jake Gardner becomes the leading defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs, playing 22-32 a night in 2017-18. Nikita Zaitsev played over 22 minutes a night in 2017-18. Ron Hainsey and Morgan Rielly both play over 21 and a half minutes a night, with Roman Polak playing almost 18, Connor Carrick playing over 15, Travis Dermott making his NHL debut, playing 37 games and 16 minutes a night, and Andreas Borgman played 48 games that year. Andreas Borgman, who probably should have never been an NHL defenseman, played 48 NHL games that year for the Maple Leafs. 2018-19, Morgan Rielly finally fully asserts himself as the number 1 defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is where he belongs. Played all 82 games and played over 23 minutes a night. Jake Gardner, again, bottom pair defenseman now with the Hurricanes, was their number 2, playing 21-13 minutes a game. Jake Muzzin came over that season from LA in a trade and played 30 games, playing just over 21 minutes a night. Now, that is a move I actually think is a good move for the Maple Leafs. That was a beneficial move, bringing in Jake Muzzin. Still, Nikita Zaitsev playing way too big of a role at over 20 minutes a night. Ron Hainsey still playing over 20 minutes a night in his late 30s at this point. Travis Dermott took another step forward, playing 17-18 minutes a game and playing 64 games that season. Martin Marincin still played over 15 minutes in 24 games played. And Igor Oziganov, some of you watching this video probably don't even know who that is, played 53 NHL games for the Maple Leafs in 2018-19. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is what I'm talking about. And then even this past year, they made more significant changes. It started with the Muzzin deal. Then they went out and they got Tyson Barrie and Cody Ceci to make even more significant changes to their decor for the 2019-20 season. Morgan Rielly played over 24 minutes a night. Tyson Barrie played almost 22 minutes a night. Jake Muzzin played over 21 and a half minutes a night. Cody Ceci played over 20 minutes a game in 56 games played. Justin Holl played over 18 minutes a game for this team. Travis Dermott played 56 games and stayed right around 17-19 minutes per game. Martin Marincin played 26 games. Rasmus Sandin had to be rushed up from the AHL to play 28 NHL games and play over 14 minutes a night this past year. This is the problem. They went out and they made moves for guys like Tyson Barrie and Cody Ceci who did not perform, who played more minutes than they should have been and did not live up to being top 4 defensemen like they were supposed to be. And again, injuries this past year played a big role as well. Morgan Rielly only played 47 games. Jake Muzzin only played 53 games. Cody Ceci only played 56 games. So injuries played a big role as well this past year. But the story continues, and it's the same old story over and over for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their defense is the problem. They are playing guys more minutes than they should be. They are playing certain guys higher in the lineup than they should be. And they are forced to play guys who don't even belong in an NHL lineup, like Martin Marincin and Andreas Borgman and Igor Oziganov. Even Cody Ceci is, to me, a seventh defenseman at best, and he was playing at times a top 4 role last year. This is the continued problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I see it all the time. Leafs fans just ragging on Frederik Anderson like it's his fault. The fact that Frederik Anderson has put up the numbers that he has with these decors in front of him is, to me, absolutely outstanding and shows how great of a goaltender Frederik Anderson is. Because these decors are not good. These are not NHL contending defense cores here. Morgan Rielly is their best defenseman and a very, very good defenseman. I like Jake Muzzin a lot as well. But the guys outside of that they are trying to put around them, I mean, for 3 years, they had Nikita Zaitsev playing, over 20 minutes a game. For 2 of those 3 years, he played over 22 minutes a game. That's just not good. That's not good. Nikita Zaitsev is not a top pair defenseman. Jake Gardner was a top 4 defenseman for them for years. Gardner playing over 21 minutes a night in 2016-17. Again in over 22 minutes in 2017-18. Over 21 minutes again in 18-19 before they finally let him move on to Carolina. They have not been able to put together a quality defense core in Toronto, and that is why they have not been able to win a playoff series, and that is why they have not been able to launch themselves to the top of the Eastern Conference and be at the same level as the top teams in the East. It's not Freddie Anderson. I'm telling you, it is not Freddie Anderson. He's been fantastic. His numbers in the playoffs last year were outstanding. His numbers in the regular season for 3 out of the 4 years, he had a .917 or a .918 save percentage in the regular season. He had 1 bad playoffs in 2018, and he had a down year regular season-wise this past year with his save percentage dropping to .909. But other than that, he's been absolutely outstanding in goal. And I don't know how Leafs fans continue to complain about Frederik Anderson when they have that decor staring them in the face. Now, the good news for Toronto and their fans is that they have once again made a stab at trying to fix this defense core. How well that will work out or not remains to be seen. We'll find out this coming season. But they let Cody Ceci go, which was a fantastic move. They let Tyson Barrie leave in free agency. They brought in TJ Brody as a free agent from the Calgary Flames. They brought in Mikko Lehtinen from Europe. And they're going to let some of the younger guys like Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren continue to develop and see if they can play a bigger role at the NHL level. I really like what the Leafs have done this offseason. I really, really like it. I think they're going to be an improved team this coming season in 2020-21. But I see it every year. I see it every playoffs. I see it during live streams. Leafs fans constantly ragging on Frederik Anderson. Frederik Anderson is not the problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He has been fine. He's been better than fine. He has been great as their starting goaltender. The problem for Toronto has been their inability to put a decent contending defense core on the ice. And that's what's held them back from being one of those top teams in the Eastern Conference and making any sort of run in the playoffs. If they can get that defense figured out, they become a legitimate threat in the East. They just have to figure the defense out. So we'll see what they look like with their newly retooled, new look defense again this season. For Leafs fans' sake, hopefully it's better than what it has been for the past 3 years. But that is the issue, the biggest issue for sure for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon merchandise store and donation link are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.